Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on when and where you are listening to this. This is Coffee with Kevin, and I'm Kevin, and here's my coffee this morning. Wyndham Rewards. I'm gonna just leaving a hotel. Mm, mm, mm. This is good coffee. How is everyone this morning? I'm in a place here that's a little different than usual. I am in the car. I'm in the car. We're less than 4 hours away from home. We're finishing up our journey, our travel, which took me all the way back to New England, and I got to see all sorts of family and do all sorts of things. And it was a great couple weeks. It was wonderful, and sometimes you need that time off. This was almost a little bit like a working vacation. I had a convention, 4 days, of which I did 6 or 7 classes. It was pretty packed. And then later on in the week, I had a board meeting with a company I'm part of. And then I had a wedding, my sister's wedding. It was just jam packed, but I got to see all my kids and some other people as well. It was just wonderful, wonderful. So, travel. It's good to travel. It's good to take your time off and do something like that. My quotes for today, I'm not going to run them across, but I love the one that Bob Hope put. He says, I've traveled almost as much as my luggage has. Sometimes when we're traveling, especially when we're traveling on flights, on planes, our luggage tends to go a little further sometimes and maybe go some other places that we haven't. That's a lot of fun. That's a whole lot of great stuff going on. I'm gonna see if anyone's in the chat this morning. I don't see anyone in the chat this morning, at least not yet. If you're out there, say hi.
Hi.
Ah, yes, Brenda, who is usually in the chat, is sitting aside of me today. Another quote on travel is, I wish somebody looked at me the same way they do at travel catalogs or travel books. I love that quote because it took me a minute to think about that. It took me a minute to think about that. And when we're looking at travel magazines and travel books, we let our minds wander. We daydream, and that's good for us. That's really good for us sometimes to be able to let our minds go, and then plan out what we'd like to do. And sometimes we don't even need that. Sometimes all we need is to let our minds go, and it's as good as being there. Sometimes all we need to do is let our minds go, and it's as good as being there. I had a client one time, and he really was, for years, he wanted to take this trip to Vietnam. Supposedly, someplace down there, there is the best sunsets in the world. I mean, it's written up, and he's studied it and learned everything about it. And I took him through this visualization. And the visualization is to actually implant and imprint something in your mind that's going to help you get this thing accomplished that you want. And after the whole technique was finished, after he had gone through this whole technique, I said, "Now, what do you think of your chances of being able to do this?" And he said to me, "None." I looked at him. This is the first time anyone's ever said that. I looked at him and said, "What do you mean?" He says, I just went there." So sometimes we can go places in our minds if we allow ourselves the imagination and we allow ourselves the creation. We can do this. All right, I am going to sign off. I've got a 4 hour or 3.5 hour drive to do, and I will see you next week from my office. Take care, all. Bye.